Okay, so something I want to go over is what to do when you first buy a property. So sometimes whenever I buy a property, I look to see how can I maximize the dollar value based on what I'm trying to do. So one of the ways in which I do this is I first figured out my exit strategies. Exit strategies are what you plan to do with the property after you purchase it. Maybe you're going to buy it and rent it. Maybe you're going to buy it and you're going to flip it. Maybe you're going to wholesale it. In which case you may be purchasing it first and then wholesaling it, right? Or essentially selling it the second time after. There's a couple different ways in which you can wholesale, but that's one of the instances. So after I figure out my exit strategy, I try to figure out what am I going to do with the house once I acquire it. So I just bought this house that you guys are seeing right here in this video. Today is day one of buying it. So what I did is I walked through the property and I started to look at all the different items that would be on my to-do list that I'd have. So the first thing being the exterior. What am I going to do with the paint? What am I going to do with the repairs to the roof? What am I going to do with the windows? That's my first step. Then I go on the inside and I look to see like how is everything on the inside of the house. Now, this house in particular is one that I'm going to be renting out, which is my exit strategy. So what I'm trying to do is do a renovation that is good enough for now. Now, the reason why I say the word good enough is because I'm currently working on 10 investment deals, and many of those are flips, and they require a lot of time, a lot of energy. So I don't have as much time to put into this one as I normally did a long time ago when I was only working on one or two. So in this particular instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside the kitchen. I'm going to upgrade the countertops. I'm going to upgrade the sink, and I'm going to upgrade all of the appliances. Now, the reason why I always upgrade those items is because those are the ones that typically get the most abuse, the most wear and tear. The cabinets themselves are in pretty decent condition. So what I'll do is I will have them sanded down, I'll have them painted, and then I'll change out the hardware so that they can be upgraded a little bit and look a little bit nicer. Now, the reason why I typically go with upgraded countertops, like in this instance, I'll go with a stone because stone is very renter friendly. There are some people who will go with the wood tops. You see them. It's like full mica, or they have it covered. It almost looks like wallpaper, right? Which is just like a sticky marble texture that is put on top of the wood itself to give it a different look, to give it a marble look. Personally, I don't like that. And I know after so many years, it's going to be replaced versus that stone. I'm going to put that stone in one time and I know that thing's going to be good until the end of time. In addition to the kitchen, I'll go to see the other spaces throughout the house to see what else I can do to help minimize how much money I'm going to be spending up front because I'm going to be doing a much larger renovation down the road. So another one that I look at is the bathroom. So if you guys saw in previous videos, I always say kitchens and bathrooms. That's where most of your investment dollars are going to go into because those are the ones that are going to make the biggest impact on your price. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for that bathroom. In this particular instance, the bathroom is one that requires a lot of upgrading. The tub is in not so great of a condition. The tile is also pretty dirty. But one thing that you can do, and I always recommend to people, is if you're going to go the rental route and you're not looking to spend a lot of money, go get your tubs and your tiles refinished. You could spend about $400, $500, spray everything bright white. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But it is enough where someone's going to step inside the bathroom. They're not going to be grossed out. Everything's going to be sealed. It's going to be hard. You can go and clean it with non-abrasive cleaning products, and it'll be perfect for a renter. And I think if you do that, you also maybe change out your shower curtains, put a new vanity in there, put a new toilet. Those are going to be immensely beneficial to the overall price that you can charge on that rental, but also it's going to save you a lot more money because as opposed to ripping out the tub and the tile and making all of it brand new and spending thousands, you can go in and out and only spend about $1,000. Another thing you're going to be doing after you finish your kitchens and your bathrooms, you're going to be looking at your flooring, you're going to be looking at your walls, you're going to be looking to see how much damage have they gone through. These walls in particular that I'm here inside the space are in okay condition. They're not the best, but they're also not the worst. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some of my guys come out. They're going to skim coat the walls. Skim coating is the process of applying some mud, right, which is essentially a drywall texture. Comes in a powder form, you add water to it, and it has a mud-like texture. They apply it to the walls and get it nice and smooth. What that does is it's going to allow for you to apply your paint without having a bunch of weird, bubbly-looking texture that really is unattractive to most people who are going to be renting and most homeowners. So by doing those simple things, putting some paint over your walls, that already is going to be a huge upgrade. Next is the floors. Now, Are your floors in decent condition? Can they be salvaged? Can they be sanded? Can they be put over new floors? Where are you with your budget? Because some people are going to have more money to spend than others. And if you're a first-time investor, I'll always say to err on the side of caution and don't overspend. You're naturally, and I say naturally because I think we all love HGTV. We all love seeing home renovations, and we all envision ourselves in the houses that we buy. So if you're a first time investor and you're like, I'm not going to spend too much money, let me tell you right now, you're going to overspend on your budget. So one thing you can do is do your best to scale back up front, so that if you do overspend, at least you know that you've been saving up front a little bit, so that on the back end, you didn't burn through all your money. So after you've done that, you've gone through all the different line items, you've gone through your kitchen, your bathroom, gone through your walls, you've looked at your floors. Next thing is to look at what's your lighting like, right? Do you need to install some hi-hats into your ceilings? Maybe you need to just do some floor lamps. Do you need to upgrade your fans? What are the conditions that they're in? If all of them can be saved, do yourself a favor and save them. Otherwise, go on Amazon, go to your local big box store and see what you can find to upgrade your fans for your house. After you go through all those different line items, you're actually going to come out ahead because you've now gone through the entire house. You've renovated your kitchen, you've renovated your bathroom, you've gone through your floors, your walls, your lighting, and you've come out with a number that hopefully is not too much more than what you're planning out when you first started. If you go through your entire house and you have a budget of, let's say, 15,000, it could be 20,000. Everyone's going to be in a different spot. But if you get to your budget number and you've stayed within your numbers, congratulations, you've done something that most people can't do, including seasoned professionals, because it is very difficult to stay within your numbers, because something that you don't ever consider about is how much you're going to be spending on all the things that you cannot see. You're going to rip out some kitchen cabinets in some instances, if you're on your budget to rip it out, and you're going to say, oh man, this wall is in really bad condition, I need to repair it. Well, that's another cost that you didn't think about. So something that's going to be good to bring up, in addition to all the things that are included in your line items, is your contingencies. So after you've gone through that entire list and you've seen all the different line items that you have, hopefully you've gone through it and you've made all the necessary changes in order for you to save on the back end. So as a perfect example, right here in the same house that we're recording in, I've already looked to see how much money I'm going to be spending in each one of those spaces. The kitchen, I'm going to put about $5,000 into, the living room, the bedrooms, and then for the rest of it is going to be repairs and upgrades to the lighting and whatever else, maybe some fans. I'm going to spend about another $5,000 there in total. And I do have to repair a deck. That's a little bit different. So sometimes you are going to run into some line items that are very unique to that specific house. This house in particular has a rear deck. First time I bought a house with a deck on it, and it's going to need about $3,000 to repair the deck. So in total, I'm going to spend about $15,000 in this house. And mind you, of that $15,000, I said you need to account at least 20% of that budget towards it. So $3,000 of that 15, which I didn't even have the $3,000 to put into it, but because I actually use pretty round numbers, that's another way that I bake my contingency into it. So I may not have $3,000 line item, but I do have overinflated numbers in my kitchen, my bathrooms, everywhere else, so that $3,000 is a little buffer zone that's within that. Now, something else that I want to bring up too is that you always want to make sure that you have a little bit extra in your bank account, because sometimes what ends up happening is people will buy these fixer-upper houses, especially these fixer-uppers that have a lot of homeowner specialists to them. You've seen them. The ones that have got hinges painted over, the ones that have doors that don't close properly, the true homeowner specialist. And those are just minor things. Now, there are stuff that has more serious aspects to it. Your electrical is bad. Your plumbing is bad. I'm talking about those kind of specials. Well, you always want to make sure you have some money set aside for those, which would be your contingency budget, because it is incredibly crucial to the overall success of your house. So let's do a full breakdown of everything. So we have our budget list we have our budget items that we're going to be going through. We have our bathrooms, we have our kitchens, we have our walls, we have our floors, what we're doing in each one, all the fixtures that we're doing with our fans and our lights. And then we also have our contingency funds as well. So you have your list, you've gone through everything, you've hit all the major points, you got the kitchen, you got the bathroom, you looked at your walls, your floors, your lights, all the different fixtures you're going to include, and you've got your contingency budget in there. If you've done that, hold that list to your heart, because let me tell you, that's going to be the one thing that saves you in this game. Something that you see a lot of rookie investors do. They don't have a budget. They don't have anything planned out. And they get into it and they just lose their shirt because they've spent more money than they possibly thought they were going to need to spend, because they didn't plan on anything ahead of time. Always be ahead of everything, stay on top of it, and plan out, because planning is what's going to save you in the long run. So if you guys are looking for more information that's just like this video, trust me, we're going to break them down into more topics, but I wanted to at least give you guys a general overview of what to do when you first buy something and you're not looking to spend a lot of money. If you are interested in more topics in depth, comment the word fixer down below, and I'll talk about some other things that you can do to fix up your houses without spending more money.